about be. Oh my goodness. Hi. Being whiny again? Huh? Alright, I think I'm sufficiently drunk enough to win this street race. Drag race? Wait. Hold up. Why the fuck is it called drag racing? Like the cross-dressing thing. Or the street... Which one came first? The street races or the cross-dressing? Now I'm confused. Hold on, wait. Ow. Fuck. Ow. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna pull up the old Googleinator. Let's see. Let's see just what exactly is going on here. Okay. Drag race, name origin. The roadway meaning of drag was referred to from England to the USA, and in the 1950s, the teenage pastime. Wait, what? From England to the US. What does that mean? Okay. Why is it called drag racing? You're not dragging anything. Where's the name come from? Let's see. Which included things like challenges to a race would be stated by asking someone to drag your car out of the garage. Okay, then they can drag your car out of the garage. All right. But I don't really believe this explanation. I think, oh, okay, the reality is much more convoluted, and the rough path is, I think, most like the rough path. I think is most likely is pretty close to what the website phrases.org.uk came up with. So with that bit of a cooperation, that's what I'm gonna get. For the word drag itself, not in its form as a verb, but as a noun. Oh. In the 1500s, a drag was a sort of wheelless sledge used to haul things or sometimes flatten roads. Okay, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. Later, wheels were added to some drags and used to haul cargo. Okay. A 1755... Damn, dictionary for the English language has an entry for drag as a noun. A kind of car drawn by the hand. Okay. This definition seemed to evolve to include horse-drawn vehicles, which later seemed to be more specific. Defines drags as a sporting vehicle for private driving, also known as a park coach or private coach. The roof seats enable it to be used as a grandstand at sporting event. What the fuck are you talking about? Grandstand? What? Roof? What? Roof seats? It appears that drag was also applied to vehicles used to haul things, the best example of which automotively is in the name of the very first real automobile ever. Nicholas Joseph Cugnot's steam drag of 1769. Look at that thing. It's fucking gross. What the fuck is this? What is this? Have you ever watched Drag Race? Like, I watched a little bit of the Indy 500. Well, I was forced to watch the Indy 500 because it was on the news station that I was working at. Kind of boring, honestly. It's just... It's somehow even more boring than NASCAR because there's so little, like, space for cars to overtake each other. So you're like, 90% of the time, you're just watching cars drive in a conga line. And it's like, I don't fucking care. Oh, okay, here we go. So, sometimes it's called a steam dray, sometimes a steam tractor, sometimes a steam car, but sometimes it's a steam drag. This use of drag to mean a number of different kinds of large vehicles seems to remain in pretty common use, and by the 1850s, the term seemed to be applied to the busiest street in a town, where the vehicles would have rolled around on, which gives rise to the term drag to refer to a busy or major street in town. And there we see the term drag, meaning road or street. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, all right. With the popularity of the term main drag growing in the early 20th century. right after the war in the mid to late 1940s when hot rod flames, were first popular and informal street races were happening all over America. The term drag racing was a synonym for street racing, becoming quite common. Okay, there we go. So, oh, here we go. The one remaining question that you're likely thinking of is, how does this relate to drag, as in the kind of thing RuPaul does so well? The answer seems to be that the terms aren't really related, at least not in origin. The usual explanation is that the term drag, for dressing in clothes traditionally reserved for the opposite gender, comes from a British theater and gay slang called polari? Alright, let's find out what fucking polari means. The curious afterlife of the dead language for gay... Wait, what? Wait, this is a language for gay people? I'm sorry, what? Hold on, we're going down a fucking rabbit hole tonight. Get your appy juice and your carrot sticks and your 40 of vodka, because we're learning tonight. In early February, the Church of England College expressed regret that in an evening liturgy in Cambridge, the service had been advertised as a Polari evening prayer in anticipation of LGBT History Month. Oh, and it was described as a liturgical experience. So what was Polari and how did it end up in any form of prayer? Etymology is insanity. I fucking love it. From bisexual, I didn't know about that. Me neither! Like, holy shit. Polari is a secret language which is now largely fallen out of use, but was historically spoken by gay men and female in person. Ooh, that's a weird way to say trans women. Ooh, yuck. Don't like that. Moving on. Research has tracked how it grew out of the world of entertainment, stretching back from West End theaters through the 19th century music halls and beyond. Developed from an earlier form of language called Parlari? Yeah? Which had roots in Italian and rudimentary forms of language used for communication by sailors around the Mediterranean. Also associated with travelers, buskers, beggars, and prostitutes, it found its way into Britain, especially London and port cities, and gradually became used by gay men and trans women, especially during the first half of the 20th century. Polari itself had Parlari as a base, but once in Britain was supplemented with a wealth of slang terminology from different sources, including Cockney rhyming slang, back slang, pronouncing a word as if it were spelled backward. What the fuck? I'm sorry, are people speaking backwards now? What? French, Yiddish, and American Air Force slang. In a period where homosexuality was illegal and heavily stigmatized, it was useful as a means of communicating conversation in public spaces, which would have alerted others to your sexuality. Many of the words allowed speakers to gossip about mutual friends or to critique the appearance of people who were in immediate vicinity. Vada the Naff strides on the Omni Ajax meant, look at the awful trousers on the man nearby. Okay. Look at those awful trousers. Just down horrendous. Inserting a Polari word such as a bona, good, or palon, woman, into a sentence could act as a coded way of identifying other people who might be gay. The language itself, full of camp, irony, innuendo, and sarcasm, also helped its speakers to form a resilient worldview in the face of arrest, blackmail, and physical violence. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Polari speakers christened themselves with camp names like Scotch Flow or Diamond Lil, affording themselves alternative identities that reclaim the representation of them as effeminate in positive ways. Okay, so how does this relate to drag? We're up to 2012 now. Okay, so I guess drag has something to do with this Polari language. Neat. something to definitely look into for another time, but I feel like I've gone over etymology too much for right now. So we're gonna go back to cyberpunk.